Alright, welcome everyone. Another part of the servicing video for the Toyota Hilux, the Mark IV, the LN165 model. In this part we're going to be doing the fuel filter change. Now, this is the fuel filter over here and this is the housing on top. What's easiest, I find, is actually to take the whole housing out, then you've got room to muck about with it, instead of scrabbling around underneath trying to pull bits and bobs out. The first thing you need to do is to take these fuel lines off. They only go on one way. The longer one goes to the top one and the shorter one is over there. Just tuck them underneath and out of the way. Is held on by these two bolts here. Just be careful the nuts don't fall into the engine bay. There. And then it comes out. There's two electrical connectors, one over here which actually just pulls out from a little hole inside. You just press this button here and that should disconnect like that. I know the Haynes manual recommends you disconnect the negative terminals on the battery, which might be a good idea. I've never done it in the past and I'm still here and alive, so but perhaps it's best to do what they recommend. And the second one is underneath here. And again, on this one, you just press that button there, and that disconnects there. And the whole thing should just lift out like this. Now, again, you can see there's normally fuel will come out. Now, luckily where we are there's a load of wood chip down on the ground, but generally you want to be careful not to be spilling this. Just hold that there for a second loosely while I get the new filter. Again, it's always a good idea to just compare the new filter you have to the one you're changing, because a lot of the times these can end up being quite stiff, so you end up bending them or cracking them or sticking holes in them to try and wrench them around with a screwdriver. So let's just make sure we got the right part. There we go. Just compare the part numbers and the physical size, and you see that should be the right filter. So this part underneath is plastic, so you want to be careful when you're taking this off because you don't want to damage it. Now generally I'll put this in the vise and just loosely hold it, very loosely hold it in shape like that, in place. They should go on hand tight anyway. There we go, like that, and that should come off. And this is going to end up making a bit of a mess in a minute, so we'll do that in 2 secs. Otherwise, you can just grip the filter itself. You can see what I mean by you end up possibly damaging the housing. And then again, this top piece should just unscrew like this. Now I've got a big waste box under here to catch any excess oil dripping, fuel dripping, be it diesel or biodiesel or whatever it is you use. There we go. So this is the top, which houses the little primer pump as well. It's here. It's always a good idea to have loads of rags and tissues, because it's quite a messy job. And just give a good wipe around here. Oh, there's gunk there. So that bit's off, and I'll pour this into this waste container I've got. And that bottom bit, again, it's just to hold it in place while you unscrew it. That's the old filter, and go to get recycled. Always get rid of the old rings, because you do get new ones when you get a filter set, and there's no point at all using old ones because they cost pence. And again, just trying to clean any gunk. You can see underneath in there you can end up with rubbish, just any dust from the bottom of the tank, or just grit, or any rubbish at all. Ideally, if you've got a compressor with a blow line, you can give these a good blowout, but we don't have one here, so tissues will have to do. So just clean it as best as you can. Filter. Put the new ring, which will sit onto here. Now, before you put any of these on, I use biodiesel in this truck, so that's a good habit. Instead of putting on the O-rings bone dry, it's just to dab them with a little bit of fuel, so that when you're screwing it shut or putting it back on, it's not going on to a completely dry washer, which might just perish it prematurely. So this goes back on like this. And these need to just be hand tight, really. There we go. That's enough to stop any leaks. Take this cover off, and just holding it, we're not pinching it because we don't want to damage the new filter. When you put the new filter in, you can either, to fill it up with fuel, you can either prime it once it's in the vehicle, or I prefer to just fill it up with some fuel. Clean fuel, of course. That way it saves the engine cranking over a few times to try and fill up the filter, because the filter material's got to soak up fuel first before it can pass it through. Doesn't have to be completely full up, just close enough is fine. There we go. Oops. And again, I should just, before I do that, sorry, again, just want to just wet this ring here a bit. Like that. It goes on top, and again, just hand tight like that is fine. Now we go back over to the front. So it's back on like that. To reconnect these connectors, which can only go in one way, so that clicks there. The washer can sit in its place, and this one clicks into place there, and there is a little hole just inside on the side there where that locates, stops it rattling around. And we've got that. Put that. And that on. Not to put any metal tools down on top of the battery and short the battery out, of course. And then we put the fuel lines back on. That short one goes over there. That's that one. And this one. There we are. If you've put the filter in empty or dry, that's the primer there, which you press to suck fuel in from the fuel tank. Normally it's relatively soft to do this and draw fuel through, and when it gets full, this pressing actually becomes quite hard. Now I know the fuel filter's quite full, so I won't prime it too much because I know it's quite full. And you just want to be careful when you're priming these. Sometimes you can get quite carried away, and in the past it's happened to me where I've done this, because there's only a little diaphragm in there, you can end up rupturing that, which then means you have to change this housing on top here. So that's the fuel filter change. Again, if you liked the video, please feel free to press like and subscribe if you like, and if you have any comments, good or bad, feel free to add them onto the video, and good luck. Thank you.